Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about dealing with our fear of success in order to succeed. But before we talk about the fear of success, I would love us to talk about what success means. Success cannot be one size fits all. Success means different things to different people. So you must understand and know intimately what success means for you, so that you not define your life by other people's measure of success. You know you do not gauge and measure your life based on someone else's idea of success and then end up feeling unfulfilled because it is not innately and it is not intimately what you want. It is not innately what you desire. So for someone, success might mean, being a jet setter, traveling from one place to the other, being always busy, being at different conferences, being in the corporate world, climbing corporate ladders, having jets, having multiple cars, having multiple clothes. That might be someone's idea of success and it's valid. For someone else, it might mean having enough money to meet their needs and some wants, going to bed early, being in control of their own time, being saved, being saved from the rigors of working a regular job, right? Being able to exempt themselves from the regular world of work, regular working environment. So that can be someone else's idea of success. And so if you have an idea of success that is different from others and you spend your life trying to meet up to those people, at the end of the day, when you sit with yourself, because you're the only one that inhabits your mind and your body, you're the only one that 100% is with yourself. You're the only one who is 100% present for all of your life. When you sit with yourself after forcing yourself into another person's mode of success, you will be very unfulfilled. So it is very important to truly come to the understanding of what success means to you and to work towards it. Now that we understand why we should have our own, why we should be very sure of what we truly want and why we should qualify and quantify and define success for ourselves. Now that we are very clear on that, it is important that we talk about the fear of success. If you were to ask people to list factors that prevented people from achieving success, you hear things like fear of failure, procrastination, environmental factors, which are all very important factors that play a part in one's achievement of success. But I really want to speak on the fear of success because it's not often talked about, right? We always talk about the fear of failure. Oh, everyone fails, failure, blah, blah, blah. Everyone fails, so you should not be afraid to fail. But no one speaks on the fear of success. I think that it's a very subtle fear that it's even, I feel like it's even beneath. It's like underneath the fear of failure is the fear of success. And what do I mean by this? Failure, for me, in fact, failure is a milestone, right, on the journey to success. So if you're going to, let's say you're journeying, let's use an analogy because I love analogies. You're journeying to success, you will pass failure. Failure is a bus stop on the way to success, right? So almost everyone has failed. Everyone has failed, right? But only those who persist on the path eventually achieve success. So failure is a milestone. So I don't even understand the fear of failure. I don't understand because everyone fails, right? But not everyone succeeds. So failure is a milestone. Now, why will someone be afraid of success? For one, I want to speak on this, right? Because it has affected me, right? And I think it affects a lot of people. For one, if you grow up in an environment where where you feel like you do not fit in, right? And you struggle to fit in, you do all your best to fit into that environment, you might be afraid to succeed. Why? Success singles you out, right? Let's say in your group of friends, you eventually become like a very well-known YouTuber or a very well-known writer or a very well-known actress. It will, to an extent, affect the dynamics of your relationship with other people, right? It will, except you guys work on it or whatever, it will affect your dynamic. And if you're someone who has always tried to fit in, you can see how you would not want anything to affect that balance. You would not want anything to extracts you from the group that you have done so much to fit into, right? So that is how fear of success plays in. I feel like the fear of success is insidious. It's insidious. A lot of people do not even realize they have a fear of success. So this is an analogy. This analogy is going to help us understand the fear of success and why it is a very insidious fear that a lot of people have without even knowing they do. Now, imagine that you're on this trip to a place called Success, right? And on the road to this place, your bus breaks down, right? And let's say Success is another country, so you're on a bus trip to another country called Success, right? And maybe a few miles from your house or from the bus stop, your bus breaks down. And you're still in your country, you're still in your vicinity, you're still in your environment. As your bus breaks down, you can easily go back to your house, and no one will be the wiser that you even made the journey, right? No one will be the wiser that you even made the journey. That is what the fear of failure is. That is what failure is. But let's say you struggle, you find another bus, and you eventually make it to another country. You would have to trade your current currency for another currency. Sometimes you would have to do that. You have to maybe meet people that speak different languages. You have to change to be in this environment. You would have to learn, you have to grow to be in this new environment. That is what the fear of success is. It's a fear of change. We have to expand. We have to expand our current, because let's say you become a successful actress, right? Before you get there, you have to expand. A part of you would have to die. A part of you will have to grow from this death. So it is very, very insidious. Like, a lot of people do not realize it, but I feel like subconsciously the fear is there. We don't want to change. We don't want to disturb the status quo. And so the fear of success hides beneath the fear of failure. Oh, I don't want to fail. But failing is easy. Everyone fails. Failing is the same environment that you started in. You can easily, let's say you want to be a successful YouTuber, right? Let's use that, right? And you have defined what a successful YouTuber means to you, right? And you do a few videos and then you stop. No, but no one is the wiser, right? No one cares. Like, oh, everybody does this, and you can easily adapt. Like, you can easily go back to your life before you were a YouTuber, right? But let's say you become very successful or successful enough, right? That your own idea of success, you become successful enough, it's gonna change the way people relate to you. People will know, oh, this person has so many subscribers. People will eventually, people will recognize you on the road, right? So that's gonna change the dynamic. So that change is what we fear. That change is what we fear. And so it's easier to hide behind the fear of failure. It's easier to hide behind procrastination, because I think that subconsciously we know that we would have to change, we would have to adapt, we would have to grow, expand, and that growth is never easy, right? We see when children grow, right? We see when children are growing and teething. It's a painful process, right? It's a painful process. So that is something that we need to sit with the fear of success. We need to sit with it. We need to remind ourselves of all the times that we have changed. None of us are the same as we were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. None of us are the same. We change. Painful things happened and forced us to change. Uncomfortable things happened and forced us to change. We went to college. It was not easy. We went to university. It was not easy. We did things we never thought we would do. We grew. So we have done it before. So even though it's uncomfortable, because we have done it before, we can do it again, right? We can do it again. So that is something we need to sit with. That we can change. We can expand to become this version of ourselves that is successful. And if we are able to sit with that fear of change, that fear of the person that we would become in order to be successful, if we are able to sit with that, I think that we would be successful. And even though this success, of course, is personalized, right? We can be successful when we deal with our fear of success. So, as I've said, you deal with your fear of success by, sitting with yourself, by understanding why are you afraid? Why are you afraid to succeed? For some of us, it's like, oh, I already have I've already acclimatized, I've already become part of this group. My family finally kind of accepts me. So me doing this thing and standing out, me having this spotlight on myself, it might ruffle this balance that I've tried to find. right? But what if it doesn't? What if you find new people that accept you, right? What if the people in your life also expand to meet you where you are, right? Because everyone is capable of expansion, right? So this fear, we need to address it, we need to speak with it, we need to talk with it, we need to meet with our fear of success in order to succeed. We need to meet with it, we need to understand why it is there. We need to speak with our fear of change, our fear of expansion, because we have done that several times over the course of our lives. So that will be all for today, and I hope that it has been beneficial for you. And if you find this topic very interesting, if you found any use in this video, then like, subscribe, whatever, and see you in the next video. Bye.